Hey, true believers. Chris Mack coming at you today with Weapon X number 4. This is the next part of the Age of Apocalypse series that we've been going over. And finally, things start to come to a boiling point, just like how it was when we did Amazing X-Men number 4. And I love this issue. Everything about it is awesome. So let's jump into it and talk about it, and you can kind of see why I'm acting like a fanboying out something fierce. So it opens up, and it's kind of depressing because as we've gone through the Weapon X books, that Gateway is just kind of sequestered himself and does not want to be involved in what this war is about, and he's been very stiff-necked about it. So what happens here is Emma and the High Council show this holoprojector of all the callings of what the Infinites and Apocalypse has done, and he goes, this is the human condition. The species has always practiced genocide, and he goes through the history of it. And Logan's he's had enough of Gateway's crap, so he grabs him by the scruff of his neck, literally. And he's like, okay, he's like, you may know the history, but you didn't see it up close. So what he does is he forces him to watch one of the Infinites coming up on this innocent little girl, and Gateway here says, look here, Logan, this is distasteful. I understand what went on here. There's no need to. And so he's cut off because the little girl's saying, please don't kill me. Please. I'm nobody. I can't hurt any of you. I'm just... Yeah, you know all about the statistics and all that cold, abstract, intellectual concept of death. But you ain't never seen the Reaper man up close. Have you? And this opens his eyes, because we go from seeing the girl terrified to just seeing the life fade away. You ain't never seen the warm light fade from the eyes. Never seen a person who could laugh, cry, and drain turn to meat right in front of you. And then in this thing, he's able to digitally pick things up like in the danger room. So he says, you want to read the great books of mankind, Gateway? Read Jodie's diary. So Gateway, he's starting to question himself, and he goes, Logan, you're a cold son of a... Yeah, I surely am. That's what comes short of being short, hairy, and unloved. Because Jean left him because he wanted to stick with the bombing of America, while Jean is more the soft-hearted, gentle kind who wants to go and warn everyone that's just going to be a statistic. And finally, at this point, Gateway's eyes are opened, and we're introduced to this gorgeous splash page. This is like old school X-Men art. This is how I remember growing up reading the X-Men. That's why more modern books, some of the artwork's okay here and there, but as I've said in other books, this was before digital, like 3D models and digital coloring and drawing was just on the up and up. So a lot of this was still traditionally done, and you can see how, I don't know, just the older stuff, because they had to do it by hand, even though a lot of the newer art can be nice and looks like paintings are almost realistic, my heart still goes to this because this is traditional artwork at its finest. And what I like here, before I get into that, let's talk about who made Into the Maelstrom. This is Larry Hama's script, Adam Kubert pencils, Dan Green inks, Pat Brousseau letters, Joe LaRosas doing the colors, Digital Chameleon separations, and Bob Harris, editor. Now Brian Braddock saying, a bit of politeness might have, and then Gateway's like, might have bounced off my shell of smug self-involvement. So Logan, finally being a little gruff, opened his eyes and realized that, he can't, Gateway cannot be separated from this. He has a stake in this just like everyone else does. So what the big thing was is they're asking Gateway to be part of flying the ships to North America so they can use his Gateway powers. And then, of course, we get a break with Apocalypse, and we started to talk about some really horrific eugenics added with some very graphic, intense imagery. Because you look at that, you're just like, because Apocalypse basically says that this used to be 2 people. And I don't want to get too far into that. I don't want to run it. But what I like is, even though Logan wants this mission to succeed, he's still got a bit of a chip on his shoulder because Jean left. And what happens is him and Emma Frost get, kind of butt heads, and she finally understands what's wrong with Logan. The woman that he loved left, and he's still willing to proceed to go forth to bomb North America where she's at. And so she's like, that would be suicidal, wouldn't it? As suicidal as coming on board if you thought your former soulmate had run off to warn the enemy of your plans. And it's a really intense read between, again, as Chris Claremont said in his documentary, character-driven drama. So the action, of course, is added, but he's just saying, I'm sure, hope that she still loves me as much as I love her. But I love her so much, you see, that I know her heart. And what I know tells me she'll storm heaven and hell to stop this hard rain from falling. Now, I want you guys to read this because the back and forth between him and Emma is really intense. Now, some sabotage, or should I say some betrayal happens, and Gateway senses it. They're like, where's Gateway? Because he's not on the bridge. He actually has to get up. He says the air smells funny. So he gets up on the roof because he can actually sniff what's coming. So it's interesting how his powers work. He's another one of those characters where it's like, well, does he just fling his, I don't remember what that stone's called. I know they said it in here, but I've totally forgot. If you guys remember, let me know down in the comments. But again, treated to a 90s splash page. I miss these vertical things like this. I don't know. It's that poster thing where back in the day before people really started collecting books, like, oh, I could take that out and put it on my wall because that is just like poster perfect. And now after we've had our dramatic scenes, we start to get into the action. Donald Pierce is back with the Reavers, and he's such a pain in the side. But there's something that happened last issue with Carol Danvers. I don't want to give that away if you guys haven't watched the review or read the book, so make sure to pause this, go check it, and come back. And you're back, but there's some really heartbreaking moments with Carol Danvers. And this is back when Captain Marvel, or should I say Ms. Marvel, was written correctly. Very much the way she was supposed to be during the Claremont era, and not so much in modern books. Now, there's one thing I want to spoil here, so beware. Because like I said, we've gone through most of the book, so it's hard to not spoil parts without talking about the book. Now, Logan gets shot up. He can't use his right arm. What's his name? Pierce looks like he's winning. This is where you finally find that Logan, when Cyclops removed his arm, he goes, Cyclops may have lopped off my hand, but my claws were retracted inside my forearm. Until now. So, I don't want to give away the full page because it's a really, really intense. But as I said, each issue 4 book goes to a boiling point of what's going to happen in X-Men Omega. And that's what we're leading up to. So I don't want to spoil the whole book. I want you guys to read this. It's an absolutely amazing series, all 4 issues. And the powerhouse team putting this together just really enhances it. I could sit here and reread this all day and not be bored. That's how much I enjoyed Weapon X during the Age of Apocalypse. And I like how when Logan talks about how his claws were retracted when Cyclops lobbed off his hand, I like that the cover kind of harkens back to what happens. So yeah, this is a classic cover. I've seen people redo it. I drew it at one time in history. That was not easy, especially all the musculature there. All that was a pain in the butt. And then, of course, hair. Hair is always not a strong point for me. But anyway, if you guys have enjoyed this book, please, first and foremost, support your local comic shop and pick up a copy. And if you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you don't mind hitting that fancy little adamantium bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys can come to the channel. And we love talking with y'all and hearing your feedback down in the comments below or on our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, I hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.